Wind spinners have been very popular recently, and this Christmas tree ornament is like a mini wind spinner. Or in white, it's an icicle. You make a simple spiral to create one. You may have seen my video of how to make large wind spinners to hang outside, but today we are making these small ones that go for your Christmas tree. What you need is a small amount of yarn in 2 different colors. For these where you put 2 colors, this here one is just white in crochet thread. And then some glitter yarn for the last row. I have gold and silver here. And then of course crochet hook that goes with the yarn you have chosen. These all are slightly different sizes, and you decide the size by how much you chain in the beginning. This here has just 20, this one has 30, and this one has 40. And this biggest one has 1 more row than the other ones. For now I'm making one like this here in 2 colors and with chaining 30. I have 25 here and I chain 5 more. So that's a chain of 30. And really you can make it any size, whatever, the same idea works. And then we start. I like them to be sort of tapered at the end. So first a slip stitch into the second stitch from the hook, just a slip stitch. And then straight away we start increasing 2 single crochets into each one of the chain stitches. 2 single crochets. And straight away the next one. And this is what you do until almost the end, because at the end again we'll have a slip stitch, but 2 stitches into each stitch, and you see that it's sort of starting to curl already because you are increasing. So do all of it, 2 stitches into each chain. Here I am almost at the end and I have 2 stitches left and 2 single crochets into the one before last, and then just a slip stitch in the last one, and then cut the yarn and pull it through like that. So it's starting to curl. Then take a different yarn and go back to that end that doesn't have any of these yarn ends. I'm crocheting each row from the same side, and then attach the yarn at the end. Chain 1, 2 single crochets in that first stitch in front of us, 2 single crochets in the same stitch as well as in the next one. And then we'll start making half double crochets and 2 into each. So half double crochet, which means you pull straight through into each stitch. And that's what you continue again until almost the end. 2 half double crochets in every stitch. So I'm near the end now, and there's 3 stitches left, and until now I've had 2 half double crochets in each stitch, but at the end I'll use single crochets. 2 single crochets. This is the third one from the end, and the second one from the end too, and then the last one just a slip stitch straight through, and then chain and then cut the yarn. This is now the size that I'm going to leave this one, but before going for the glitter I'm showing you how I would go on if I wanted this thicker one. I'm not going to do it, but I'll show how it would start. So if I was going to do another row here, I would start the row the same way I did here, but then have 2 half double crochets in a couple of stitches for the tapering, and then start by having 2 double crochets in each stitch and chain 1 in between. So 2 double crochets here, chain 1, 2 double crochets here, chain 1, and so on, right until the end. And at the end, again then taper it down by having a couple of times after the double crochets, half double crochets, then single crochets, and a slip stitch at the end. So this is how you would do it if you wanted this to be bigger. Then for the last row, using glitter yarn, and leave yourself quite a bit of the yarn for the hanging loop. That will save you 1 extra weaving in of yarn. And go to the top of the end where you don't have all these yarn ends. I have one here. And insert the hook and get the yarn. And so that it stays well in the beginning, take both strands and make a stitch with that. And then leave the yarn end out, of course. And now for the last row, what we are simply doing, and if you have made this bigger one that has a chain after every 2 stitches, you do the same. Use only the back loop of each stitch and 1 single crochet into each. So that is a super easy row. All you do is a single crochet in each one. And if you have those chains, also a single crochet into them. So just go through the whole thing with single crochets, so this borders it. Now of course then if you wanted something extra, you could also do like picots. I'll just show. Chain 2 and make a slip stitch at the start of those chains and then continue. So if you wanted to add something, you could have those picots there. Or you can of course also add sequins, beads or anything. But the basic is that you just crochet to the end using single crochets. Now I got that done and then finished off all the yarn ends. And it's worth tying the hanging loop like this here so that it can twirl a bit. Of course, when it's inside, it doesn't spin the way wind spinners do, but it does twirl a bit when people pass it or if there's a window open or something. And then form it right so that the coils are even. Make many different ones, also to give to friends and family. Check out this playlist of other tree ornaments to make.